I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I am your host, Belinda Sandor, and I'm thrilled you're here. Today we're going to talk about LinkedIn newsletters, and I'm going to show you how to get started and some of the amazing power that there is in this relatively new social media feature on LinkedIn. So thanks for joining us. I'd love to hear in the comments where you're coming in from. So please jump in, say hi, and let me know where you're coming in from. So we are streaming across a lot of Facebook groups and our business page, our community, the Virtual Assistant Connection, also on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, click that little subscribe button and you'll be notified every time we go live. So again, I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. Mexico, Southwest Missouri. That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me know. And I also want you to know that the Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And the VA Connection is where I work with new, aspiring, and established virtual assistants to help them have the thriving business that they've always wanted, and to teach them how to teach you guys, how to start from where you are. And we do this in our free online community, our courses, and our coaching programs. So we've got some people from Texas and the UK. That is so awesome. I love this. And the Virtual Assistant Connection has a little over 26,000 community members, and we are represented in 47 countries, which to me is just so super cool. Super cool. Okay. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to jump into LinkedIn newsletters. And I am really excited to show you all the things you can do and how this can really get your VA business jump-started, especially if you don't have a big list of email newsletter subscribers. Okay. Excuse me. Whoops. Hold on. All right. So this is me and my delicious little daughter, who's now 21, believe it or not. And this was us almost 12 years ago when I was starting my journey as a VA. And it was really, it was a difficult time for me. There was a lot going on. I was a newly single mom. I didn't have a job. Things had not been going well for a while, so I had a ton of debt. And we had to move. I hadn't been able to pay the mortgage for over a year. And so we had to move 3 times, that would be worse, 3 times in 4 years, before we settled down in the right school district and got Emily and myself, settled down. So there was a lot going on, and I'm not really comfortable, like a lot of you, with chaos and craziness. But we definitely had a lot of that, and we had to work through it. So from this place of being, overwhelmed and just out of my comfort zone, my confidence was really shattered. I had to figure out how I was going to take care of us. How was I going to take care of us? I was just about to turn 50. And what's really funny about that is I'm 61 now. And when I was 50, I felt like I had no options. I felt like there was nowhere to turn. And I felt so much older, and not in a good way, than I do now. Things have turned around, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, it was a really tough spot. So I decided I loved admin work. I didn't want a 9 to 5 because I wanted to be with Emily. It took me a long time to have her, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to miss mothering her, basically, and having that lifestyle. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do admin work. I'm going to help small businesses, give this a whirl, see what happens. So I just started telling people. People would say, what's new? And I would tell them I'm doing this kind of work. So one day at the bus stop, I don't have any clients yet, and I mentioned this to one of the dads standing there with the kids. He says, what are you up to these days? And I said, well, I'm starting a new business. Now, I thought that this dad was the CEO of some company, some telecenter or something. I really didn't have any idea of what he did. Um, but his whole face changed when I said that. He said, "Wait, what?" And I told him, and he was so happy because he'd started a business a couple months earlier and he was swimming, drowning in administrative details and he needed help. So here he is. He knows me, he trusts me, right? And I am the solution to his problem, because his wife was like, "Can you just get some help?" Because she had a job and 3 kids and all of that. So I started working with him. And at first it was part virtual. I didn't know about the virtual part yet. Part virtual, part in his office, and it was terrific. And he needed me to do just these everyday kinds of things like pay the bills, download software, organize his QuickBooks, things that I already knew how to do. So it worked out really well. Now the story is longer, and as you guys get to know me, over our time together, you'll hear more about it. But if we fast forward to where we are now, I've been in business. It'll be 12 years next week, and I've worked with over 225 clients. And from home, over those years, I've made over $1 million because the first year I was in business, I really leaned into it, and I did what I needed to do. I made $70,000, and every year after that, for the next 10 years, I made over $100,000 every year. So that's really exciting. So we have a watcher from Kenya, which is exciting. I love when you guys are like from everywhere. It's just really terrific. All right. So here's what it looks like today. This is my, I can't say new husband anymore because we just had our first wedding anniversary, but this is my husband, Greg. We got married a year ago last week. And these are our kids, Emily and Greg's 4 boys, David, Charlie, Stephen, and Andy. And this is on our wedding day. And life is really different now. My finances are handled. I'm self-reliant. I don't have to rely on other people, for a job or anything like that. I have a thriving business. And I was there for Emily when she grew up. And also being a virtual assistant enabled me to have my relationship with Greg, because he lived 150 or 250? I think it's, I'm terrible at that numbers and stuff. 150 miles, 3 hours, let's put it that way, 3 hours away. And because my business was virtual, and in fact, that's one of the reasons I pushed to make it virtual, because that wasn't such a big thing back then. People didn't do that as much, because I wanted to be able to be here on the weekends. And so in order for me to do that, I had to leave Friday afternoon and I went back home Monday morning, and I had to have a flexible schedule that worked in between so I could get all my billable hours in to support myself and have the flexibility to sometimes work in Connecticut and sometimes, be here on the weekend. So that was a lot. So love is the answer. Love is the answer if you want some motivation. But that's what it looks like today. So I know a lot of you are in similar shoes, trying to figure out what's next. And I appreciate that. And being a virtual assistant really can be a great next step to being self-reliant, to be able to support yourself and your family and be there, and choose when and where you're going to work. So it can happen. It can happen. So let's talk about LinkedIn newsletters. Okay. So first, let's talk about newsletters in general. Now, I am a huge fan of newsletters. In fact, I tell my students, the first thing I want you to do is get your contacts together and learn how to do a newsletter. And there's a lot of reasons for this. One of them is you can reach a lot of people at once. So the newsletters that I'm talking about they're not ads. They're not asking for work. They're not sales. What you're doing in the newsletters, as I teach it, is you're creating useful content that people are grateful for, that they want to read, and you're sharing it with them. There are ways to, definitely you want to have something in your newsletter, a way for them to contact you, a way for them to get on your calendar so you can talk about working together. But of this whole long newsletter, that's a really, really small point. Okay. Really small point. So you can reach a lot of people at once. Readers can hit reply and they can be in touch with me. And the writing can be used over and over. And so now I'm talking about newsletters that you would do to your list, like MailChimp. using MailChimp or Constant Contact, something like that. Now, this illustrates the point right here. So say you've written 5, 10, 100 newsletters since you started your VA business, or you're just getting started. If you've published those newsletters already and sent them out to your list, now you can repurpose that content and send it out using LinkedIn newsletter. That's what I'm doing, because LinkedIn newsletter has only been, invented for me. We started it. Well, I was just looking. We've sent out 41, so less than a year ago is when we started using it. So I'm going to show you how to start using it. I'm going to show you screenshots and specifically what to do. All right. So stay tuned for that. But you can use you can use this over and over. And I don't recommend publishing to your traditional list and LinkedIn with the same content on this, on the same week. I think that would be a turnoff, but having it on LinkedIn, people have to opt in, but having different, not new, repurposed, different content on your LinkedIn newsletter is a great way to be in front of people, right? With something you already created, right? Something you already created. Newsletters are a great way to tell people about your work. I encourage my students to write about topics that are things you would do for clients, right? Things that you would do for clients as a way to showcase. Again, I'm always talking about, showcase your business by treating yourself as your first client, right? And then you can show off your work. Now, the other thing is with newsletters, I find that my clients are better suited to me. And the reason is because they get to know me, right? They get to know me a little bit. They understand what I can help them with. And it has happened more than once that someone has been a receiver of my newsletter, got in touch with me and said, I've been reading your newsletter. I've been thinking about hiring you for a year. Are you taking new clients? How many want to hear that, right? Who wants to hear that, you guys? Definitely, definitely. And then there's one last point I want to make, and this might sound funny, but by writing the newsletter, it makes me feel smarter. And that boosts my confidence. And clients feel that for sure. And the reason I feel smarter is because it's one thing to talk about, it's one thing to have someone say, to talk to you about which, services that you offer. It's another to sit down and write about it and think about it and make sense about it. So that, for example, because I've written about email newsletters so much, it's much easier for me to talk about it in a confident way because I've thought about it. And so that's what the writing does as well. Okay, good. All right. Now what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you specifically what to click to set this up in LinkedIn. Okay. And then I'm going to show you my newsletter, and I'm going to show you all the different ways that it works. And feel free to put questions in. I would love your questions. Okay. Love, love, love. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to your profile, and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see something called, you know what? I'm just going to have LinkedIn up as well. Hold on one second. I have it ready for us. Where did I put that? Hold on. Oh, it's right behind. Oh, it's right here. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So one momento. All right. Want to have it up at the same time so that we can see it. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to your profile, and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see something called resources. Okay. And when you click on resources, you're going to see, it says show all, all 6 resources. You're going to click on turn creator mode on. Okay. Turn creator mode on. So that's what you want to do. And there are things that occur that we're not going to go into in detail today when you turn creator mode on. One of them is that you can now assign to yourself 5 hashtags. All right, so you can choose 5 hashtags that work for you. You can use LinkedIn Live or the newsletters, and I'm pretty sure it's open to everybody. And if it's not, and you might get some kind of message about you have to have a certain number of connections to do this, you can do this on your on your business page and on your personal profile. Now, I do this on my personal profile because I have way more followers and connections, well, followers and connections on my LinkedIn profile than I have followers on my business page. So for me, I always want to, hold the megaphone and shout it where the loudest, where the biggest audience is. The other thing is that you want to make sure that if you decide to do both, that it doesn't look like you're making a mistake. You want to think about it and think about the value, and is it a good idea to do that? But really, especially if you're doing a traditional email newsletter as well, because you don't want to overwhelm people, and that I think that might be a little much. So for me, for now, I'm sticking with publishing on my profile because I think that's where I get the most exposure. The other thing is that you get a profile video. I have not taken advantage of this, but you have a 30-second video that can be right on your profile, which is great. That's something I'm going to put on my list. And then you get new features. Now you can see on the slide, it says audio event. Here, it's backwards, audio event. And if you click on that, it's sort of like Clubhouse. Now, I just found out that I had that this morning. I haven't heard about that, but that's just an example of when you have creator mode on and LinkedIn rolls out new functionality, this is where it's going to be. All right, this is where it's going to be. And then the other thing is there's you have the ability to have a follow button in the news feed. So people don't have to go to your profile and follow you. They can follow you right in the feed. Okay. So anybody have any questions about that? If you want to jump over and do this with me, that would be great. Okay. So we're also going to go into the details. Okay. So now it's turned on. Okay. Great. And so I want to tell you what happens when you publish your newsletter. Okay. So it emails so people have to subscribe. All right. So it is absolutely opt-in, and it emails the newsletter to to the people who subscribe. So they get it right in their email inbox, and it notifies your subscribers that you've posted. And it helps you get more subscribers. It absolutely helps you get more subscribers because it puts this in the feed, right? It puts this in the feed. And you can also see who all your subscribers are. And I'm going to show that to you as well. It's pretty cool. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Okay. So go to your LinkedIn homepage. All right. Go to your LinkedIn homepage and click write an article. All right. I know this is not intuitive and it's not, but we love LinkedIn. Okay. So write an article. When I say homepage, I mean like the LinkedIn homepage, like linkedin.com, not your profile. Okay. That's where your information is. And then you're going to click the button that says create newsletter. Once you click that, you're going to see a page similar to this. Now here you're going to have, let me make myself smaller. Okay. Here, what you're going to see is the title of your newsletter. So that would be, 30 characters or less. And if you have a newsletter already that you're sending out to your email list, I would use the same name. You're going to select how often you're going to send it out. And then you have a description, which is 120 characters to describe your newsletter. And you can use keywords. I happen to have a tagline for my newsletter. So that's what I have there. You can upload an image. For what I did was I put in the VA Connection logo. So you can put your logo there, and that can be 300 by 300 pixels wide is what they recommend. Okay. So is everybody with me so far? Okay. Now, this is a biggie. Let me go back. So, whoops, hold on. All right. So this is a screenshot. So I already have creator mode on and I already have a newsletter. So I couldn't show you mine because it would be confusing. So I went into my business profile page and this is a screenshot of that. When you're in your profile, it's going to ask you these two questions. It's going to invite you to invite my connections and followers to subscribe. And you totally want to check that. And subscribe me to my newsletter. So that way you get a copy of it as well. Now it says invite my connections and followers to subscribe. So what it's going to do is send out a message to all of your connections and all of your followers when you publish the first issue of your newsletter. So think about that for a minute. Let's say, your email newsletter list that, that you publish not on LinkedIn, your traditional one. Let's say you've got 300 subscribers, 300 subscribers, which is a nice number. And let's say on LinkedIn, you have 600 connections or 400 connections or, 10 followers and, and you don't, and those people haven't opted in. Now they're going to get the opportunity to opt into this newsletter. And I spent a lot of time and I talked a bunch to a friend who's a newsletter expert about this because I thought, is this a good thing to do? Just in terms of confusing people, oversaturating people. And we had quite a long discussion about it and we decided to go for it. And I'm really happy that I did because I really think the reach is beyond, because everybody's not on Facebook. Everybody's not on my email newsletter list. And I've spent literally a couple of decades building my newsletter subscribers. Is that true? No, a decade, I would say. I started building it right when I started my business, Rocket Girl. I was looking for a job before I decided that I didn't want that. And I built it up. All right. So someone says, I don't have the same option showing. All right. So tell me how many connections you have. That could be it. All right. We're not going to go back. I am going to go back. You don't have to watch this again. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your LinkedIn homepage. Okay. And click write an article. All right. Once you click write an article, this is the page that's going to pop up. Okay. And it's crazy to explain, but they're all tied together. And I'm going to try to demonstrate this for you. Okay. I started with this because I thought it would be easier to understand what I was going to show you next. Okay. So you were on your LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn homepage, you click write an article, create a newsletter right here. Then this is where you're going to put the name of your newsletter. So mine is called the VA Buzz. I don't know if you can do this on an iPad. Where is this write an article? Okay, good. Okay. And then you select how often you want to publish. The newsletter description, I think mine is something like how to get more clients faster. What is it? How to get better clients faster. I'll tell you when we get there. I uploaded my logo here. Okay. And then this is the next piece. Invite my connections and followers to subscribe and subscribe me to my newsletter. Okay. All right. So let's see what's next. All right. Now I'm going to show you LinkedIn. I am going to, I'm going to open this up for a minute and I am going to stop the screen sharing for a second and find where I teed us all up. I was ready. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here we go. One more second. It's so funny. I was all ready and prepared with everything I was going to show you. I had it in a separate little browser tab because I tend to have many, many tabs. Oh, here. All right. Finally. Yay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to share again. Okay. Okay. So this is what it looks like when it comes into the email inbox. Okay. So it comes from Belinda Sandor via LinkedIn. This is the title, and this is the title, and this is the beginning of the article. Okay. So what it's saying is it has your profile name, right? And it has your picture and it has your LinkedIn descriptor. It has a link for them to open the article on LinkedIn and comment, which is great. And then this is the image that we have at the top of the newsletter. And what I decided to do was create, you can do this a couple different ways. You can have a different graphic that represents the the newsletter every single time. Or what I decided to do is say, what's new on the VA Buzz? And then on the cell phone, we put the title of the newsletter right there on the cell phone. So I decided to create kind of a brand image. There's not a right or a wrong way to do this. It's just really, I wanted to build brand recognition. So here's the article right here. Okay. And then again, click to join the conversation, which is great. And then you can unsubscribe from this here. Okay, so that's what it looks like. All right, so now let's go to, all right, hold on. Let's go to my profile. I was looking all over the place. Okay, great. Oh, you know what's happening, you guys? Okay, this is really interesting. So this is my LinkedIn profile, and I'm streaming live on LinkedIn, and this is me streaming live on my LinkedIn profile. Okay, talk about Wizard of Oz land here. Okay, so that's what's happening. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to activity. And I'm going to show all activity. So we're going to go down. I post a lot, as you guys know. Okay, and this is what it's going to look like in the feed. Okay, so this is my post. Just like this is an inspirational quote post, right? It's got the information and the image. This is what it looks like in the feed. Okay, how to stay focused. Issue number 40. Because I publish frequently, I like to put issue number. I think it builds credibility, and it's also fun to count up. And you can see here it has 195 impressions. When did this get published? 2 days ago. And if we click on it, we go to the article itself right here. And what you can see is this is the post right here. This is what I wrote in the post, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. You can see that I've published 242 articles. I've been doing this for a really long time, guys, like with Rocket Girl, way before this. You can see who has had reactions right here. You can see that I have 2,500 subscribers, and I can see that I'm subscribed right here, right? So if someone sees this in the feed and they read it, they can come down here and they can subscribe. Now check this out. This is super cool. Here are the last 4 newsletters right here, all teed up, ready for your viewer, your reader to look at. So it's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of YouTube in a way, that you can show, that they can see, what else. All right. Now, one of the things that I've been watching some trainings on this week, and there's some changes that I'm going to be making to the way we're doing it. And one of them is I'm going to have a call to action right here. So I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but it's going to have a link, and it's probably going to go. I have to decide. It'll either go to the Facebook group or it might go to the VA Connection homepage. But it's funny, I do that. I've been doing that for my articles for Rocket Girl and the VA Connection, but I didn't completely understand how this all worked. I jumped in with both feet, and now, just like with everything, we've gotten a lot of traction with it. We have a lot of subscribers. It's very exciting. Now it's time to go back in and refine. So if you find yourself in that place, I had a feeling this morning when I was watching, I was reviewing my notes and getting ready for this. I thought, gosh, I've missed some opportunities. And I thought, just relax. Everything's changing all the time. Just, make the changes. So I went over to the Trello board where we've got all this laid out, and I'm going to make some changes to make it better. So, don't worry about that. Now, let me show you some other cool things here. And I know we're going over, so thank you for hanging out. 2,502 subscribers. So I can click on this. Look, you guys, I can see who is subscribed. Now that is pretty cool. And I can interact with them if I want to, right? I could click and say, okay, let's see that. Well, here's someone. There's Tracy. I think Tracy's on here right now. So I could click on that. She's a second level connection, and I know Tracy. So what I would probably do is click and connect with her. Here's a third. And so look at this, guys. This is going beyond my network. Okay, so Michelle is joining us. She is a third level connection. So she might be brand new to the world here. and she's subscribing to my newsletter. So if she's a third level connection, she probably isn't on my email list, right? Because that's one of the ways that people get on. Here's another person, third level. This is another person, third level. So this is pretty cool to see all the third level people who are subscribers and probably new to the universe. So this is why it's important to have the call to action, which is something I missed at the bottom of these newsletters. Okay. Now, something else I learned is that what I was doing, let's go back. What I was doing is I was writing up here. I was writing subscribe to my newsletter. And I probably made that decision really fast. And so, my team has been helping me. They've been doing this. And I thought, oh, this is the mistake. I should not be doing this. What I should be doing is giving them a highlight of what's in the newsletter, like the executive summary, so that they'll click on it. And I thought, oh my gosh. So what I have to decide is if I'm going to go back and fix them or we're just going to leave it. But you can see here. So how to stay focused. When it gets difficult to focus, here are some tips for staying in your seat. Plan break time, stay away from non-work activities, take care of yourself. So it's actually, it's three things, right? It's a newsletter, it's an article, and it's also a post all in one, which is super cool. You can tell I'm pretty excited about this. Okay. So what else do I want to tell you about this? What else do you want to know is the question. So let's go here, write an article, and then I'm admin for a lot of different people. So I choose me, I click next, and I can either publish an article or the buzz, an individual article, but why not do the buzz, right? This is where that image of the phone and me with holding the cup is. This is my profile and my tagline. Here it is. Our newsletter for virtual assistants on making more money in less time with better clients, weekly newsletter. Okay. So I'm telling that's where, when you choose how often you're going to publish, that's where that goes. And then I would put the article right here, put my call to action, click publish. When I click publish, a box is going to pop up and it's going to ask me for that executive summary, which is the post. You click that, it's in the feed, it's in the email boxes, inboxes, it's all the places. Okay. So what do you think? I think this is pretty awesome. And it's also, if any of you have been hesitant to connect with people on LinkedIn, I would launch a big campaign of connecting with people on LinkedIn. And then I would do this. So Tracy, that's a good question. So she asked, is it better to publish the newsletter on your personal page or business page? It depends on where you have more reach. Okay. Because I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head, but on LinkedIn, as a virtual assistant, I was, before I started the VA connection and a giant outreach to all of you, I had about 1,200 people on my, connections on LinkedIn, and all of them knew who I was. And on my Rocket Girl Solutions business page, I probably have, 100 followers, so when you think about it, it's really wherever you're going to get the biggest reach. And for me, it's always been my personal profile, because I've felt that connecting with people myself as me is much more powerful than any connection that I could make with the business page. I think it's good to post on your business page. I think it's good to pay attention to it. But the majority of the activity that happens for me has always been on my personal profiles when it comes to LinkedIn. There's something else I want. I want to show you this. This is cool. And again, this was something that I just learned recently. So you can add a featured section right here on your LinkedIn. And if you don't have one, if you just click here, add a new profile section, and then it'll be called featured. And so here this is the VA Buzz right here. The image comes in automatically, and this is the logo that I uploaded. So I could change that if I wanted to. And then what happens is someone could subscribe right here. I'm already subscribed, but it would say subscribe. And then you can also add your newsletter right here in your featured. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start featuring the latest newsletter right there in the feed, because I have a lot of people going to my page. And so that would be really cool. So that's another way. So think about this for a minute. Someone is saying that they need to get the content together. I just want to talk for a second before we go about the power of that, the power of the content, because once you create it, here just on LinkedIn, right? Just on LinkedIn, it's, the feed, it's in your featured, it's all the places. You can also put it on, you can create a video with the content and put it on YouTube. You can post it on Instagram. So having this content is really, really important, and it doesn't have to be hard. Go over to thevaconnection.com, look at my blog that I have there, and check it out. Really short. I mean, look at this right here. This is the whole article. So it's just really right to the point. Okay. Good. All right. I am going to come back over here to the slide, and because I want to tell you about one more thing. So hold on, there's a question. So Donna says, I thought you couldn't have two profiles on LinkedIn. You should link your personal. So you have a personal profile and a business page. So it's two different things. So one profile, absolutely, it's against the rules to have more than one. And there's no reason anyway, because you're just one person, right? And then the other is, and then you can have business pages. So I have a business page for Rocket Girl, for the VA Connection, for the Entrepreneurial Women's Club, things that I was involved with. All right. So I don't think I understand this question right here. Are you happy for us to source information from you? Oh, you mean reuse my content? Yes, you can do that. You can reuse my content. And, I hadn't thought about this before. I did this with Rocket Girl. You need to have an attribution to me and a link to the VA Connection website. So you would say, written by Belinda Sandor and then have a link to the VA Connection. And, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that, because I'm going to offer that to other people. Yes. And that's a good thing to do with your newsletters. I've had people, think about this for a minute. So I've had clients say, that was a great newsletter. Can I reuse that and give you attribute? If you don't attribute it to me, that will be plagiarism and stealing, just to be clear. So they gave me, credit, and they put a link on, a link to my website. And I thought, oh my gosh, they have 1,200 people. Yes, you can use my content. You can use my content to, to spread the word. Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds like it's kind to me, but it's really, you're helping me as well. So it's a win-win. All right. But just make sure you take my, well, no, you want to leave it exactly as it is. You want to leave it exactly as it is. Oh, all right. So someone has said, I noticed this week someone else is using your content with their name on it. Students from the VA school, which is my signature online course. We're going to be opening up enrollment next week. In fact, I'm going to tell you about that right now. They have rights to use 12 of my newsletters, and it comes with the school. It comes with the school. So other than that, if they're using it, that's they should stop. They should stop for sure. Last thing, if you want to learn more great information like this, join me for my 5-day training. It's called the VA Client Kickstart Challenge. We're kicking it off on September 12th. And you can sign up by going to vachallenge.info. We've already had a bunch of people sign up. There's a resources page you get access to, a Facebook community that's already hopping. So sign up and join me on September 12th, and I will teach you how to have a steady stream of clients in your business. All right, guys, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Go forth and conquer. I'll meet you back here next Friday, same time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.